Hey guys, James Crawford here, week two video blogs. I just wanted to break into the historical perspectives in Title IX gender equality TED Talk with Michael Kimmel, and how and how he kind of explained gender equality, Title IX, all in a and all in a tidbit. I liked when he commented on and told the story about the white woman and the black woman, and when they wake up in the morning, what do they see? And the white woman said, I see a woman, and women are not equal in this society. And then he told the black woman, what do you see? And she was like, well, I'm at a disadvantage more than the white woman because I'm a black woman living in this society, and I feel like with the race, it's not equal even to a white woman. So it that kind of brought me back to when I was taking classes in my undergraduate in Kansas City. Looking, I took this class. It was a cultural gender studies course, and the first day of class, I walked into this class, not knowing what was going on, and sat down, and this African American teacher was, first question she told me was, do you feel privileged? And I was just like, privileged? No one's ever asked me that before, and she kept asking, do you feel privileged? And I was just like, well, I got food on the table, I'm college educated, I have, both of my parents are still together. It's that's an interesting question because yes, I'm privileged, and she's like, well, let's look at it as a different dynamic here. You're white, living in the United States. You're privileged just because you're white, because of your race, and I didn't really think about that until we had to do a project where she made us go to a church that was of different diverse, like I had to go to I went to her church, which was a all African American church. Never ever been to an African American church, and honestly, I was the only white person there. Me and this other white girl were, and I have utmost respect for African American churches. It was probably one of the best times of my life ever going to church. I was. It started like right when we got out of the car in the parking lot. I was greeted all the way to the sermon, and it made me feel so warming, and it made me feel that this looking from a different point of view, from a different culture, was eye opening. I had no idea, no realization that it would ever be like that. So it kind of opened my eyes for just what it's like for a different culture, and kind of made me think about the word privileged. I also I had to interview a couple of people, and just kind of looking at the different genders, and just the different races, and kind of seeing where everyone was, what they did, and looking at kind of the being privileged and the differences, and I found out that race is visible, and that being black or being of a different ethnicity, they are at a disadvantage, and I found that after interviewing people, and kind of what they did, and kind of just how they were working low income jobs. Also digging into the Billie Jean King and her her tennis story, and how she kind of was the platform for women in sports during during Title IX, shortly after it was passed, and just kind of her motivation and her mindset going into that game. She was the first ever woman to challenge a man, and not only challenge a man, but beat a man, and beat a man, Bobby Riggs, that was well respected. He was one of the top tennis performers during that era. So more power to Billie Jean for taking that step and setting that platform for, women's rights and women's rights in sports. And, you know, just because of her and her motivation and her taking a stand, created social change. And, I like how she touched on, if you see it, you could be it. And I agree with that statement. I feel like, if with this, living in the United States, we have an opportunity to better ourselves on a daily basis. And, if you want to better yourselves, it's you have to have that go and get it attitude. If you go to school, what could you do to better yourself, to professionally develop in that general area? So that's kind of what I took away from the two TED Talk videos. And I felt like it was a very informative week with Title IX and gender equality, and how the direction that we're going. So thanks, guys. I look forward to doing another one of these next week. So cheers.